Welcome to the Soul Happy Success Show. Coach Mecca here, and this is the question of every entrepreneur ever. How do I get clients? We're specifically talking about how you get online coaching clients today. So please like and subscribe if that sounds like your vibe. Then you'll want to be here every Tuesday when I release new videos. So let's start with perspective because we have to start thinking about things differently to get a different result. So I want you to imagine that client acquisition, the act of getting clients, is like a bank. Okay. The more you put into the bank, the more you can take out. We're ignoring the fact that people have overdrafts and loans and all that kind of stuff. We don't talk about debt in our house. We don't do debt in our house. It's not a judgment, it's a personal choice. And I love instilling that in clients and anyone that I touch and speak to because, oh my gosh, I remember being in five-figure debt and it was the worst. So imagine like a very typical standard transaction in a bank, no debt involved, is the more you put in, the more you can take out. The more deposits you make, the more you can withdraw. The more content, support, love you give your clients or your potential clients, the more actual paying clients you will take out. Okay. There is this concept of know, like, and trust that leads people to buy from you. And this is how you build that. And I truly believe it is by always giving more than you take. And there are spaces of personal development where this gets very murky waters, where people say you have to protect your energy, you have to be paid your worth. And I just want to highlight you will never be paid your worth because you're priceless as a human being. You'll never be paid your worth because you can't. There's not enough money in the world. So that even that concept of being paid for worth when worth is intrinsic value just boggles my mind. So there are spaces I believe in personal development, personal belief. Hit the comments. Like if you disagree, I want to have this conversation because I think that there are spaces where we've taken this too far, where now people are hoarding all of their information and all of their programs and all of their support and all of their books and their ideas, and they're just not sharing any of it. And they're questioning, how much do I share? People that I look to in the industry specifically in coaching are always the people that give 99% of their content away for free. My mentor is Brendan Bouchard. Currently, we're in his, myself, my husband are in his mastermind. And oh my gosh, he gives most of what he does away for free. Every single daily fire that I've heard from him in Growth Day, it's an app, you do pay for it. But every single one, what I've heard him say on stages, I can find on YouTube. I can find it on YouTube. He'll be saying it differently, but it's there. So everything he's given, it's there. And we've just paid him thousands of dollars to just be around him and to hear him say these things again directly to my face. That's all I want. That's why I've paid him. So all you're paying for is 1%. Everything else, gift it. If it feels too much, but it's possible, do it. That's my philosophy. If it feels too much, but it's possible, do it. Because you need to build up this know, like, and trust factor. And I know a lot of people speak about it. A lot of people talk about it in marketing, and there are many ways to do it. But the easiest way is just give. Be giving, be supportive, be loving, be present with your time, and do your best. Not to the detriment of yourself, your soul, your family. That's where people start then taking this specific message too much, too far. Not to your detriment, but in aid of supporting people. I'm not saying give someone your 12-week course for free when it is, a course that you've delivered for 2 years and many people have paid for it. And now you're just saying, oh, I'm just going to give it away for free. Like you totally could. You could build something. I'm sure you could build something after 2 years better and more incredible with the 2 years of growth that you've had. But I'm not saying you have to give everything away for free. I'm just saying that the more that you give away, the more that you show up, the more that you support people, the more likely they are to come into your world and to buy your products and your services and your coaching. So if we are working on a basis of we are going to make more deposits than withdrawals, then now comes the 3 steps to understanding how your lead generation is going to work. So step 1 is market research. If I have said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, and I know that you've been here and you have heard it. And I know that not enough people are talking about it in the space, and that we need to be. We need to be responding to the market and what people want. And specifically when it comes to, because today we're talking about a lead generation system into a sale, into you have paid clients. This is the situation. So you need to understand, where are your niche, where your people buying from? Where are they buying from? Literally ask them. If you are in a market research call or in a direct message market research conversation, then ask them, have you been coached before? If they have, winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's what you want, because then you can say, oh, cool. How did that go? How did you find that coach? How did you communicate? Did you get on a call with them? Did you buy through a link? Did you speak to them in direct messages? How did it go? Because then you know where people are buying from, so that you can replicate the system if it feels in alignment with you. And of course, you have your own data. So I am aware that not everyone that watches my content is just starting up. Some people have had clients in the past, and maybe it's kind of been a bit more of a drip and a drizzle than, the fire hydrant that you would like. So you can also base this off of your own data. Where have people bought from you? How have people connected with you? Why did they choose you? You can literally I ask my clients all the time, like, why did you choose me? Like, not for like an ego boost, but actually genuinely, so I know what made you come into my program. And one of my clients literally was like, I was about to hand over the amount of money. And this is actually, do you know what, this client, I'm going to take a moment for this, because this particular client was a beta client of mine 2 years ago, at the very beginning of my business, before my freelance journey. So before I even went into coaching freelance, I had a few clients, and she was there from the beginning. She started with me on a 6-week beta program, so program for free, and she's still here with me. We're 2 years later, and has continually paid me and up leveled and done great things. That's the value of giving more than you take. At the beginning, I gave everything, and look at the payoff. It's quite astronomical on both sides, but as a business owner, it's quite incredible. And the first time she went to give me a payment, it was 500, it was 500 pounds. It was in the UK at that time. I'm now a high ticket coach, and we have scaled since then, that's for sure. But the first time she paid me, then she said that she was thinking, oh my gosh, this could be a tangible thing. I could get a new TV for 500 pounds. And here I am just giving 500 pounds to this person that, has helped me for 6 weeks, but it's not tangible. And she saw at the time the way I was taking payment was through bank transfer. And she said the end of, the last X amount of digits of my bank account number were sevens. And she was just like, it was a sign from the universe. It was all sevens. So I decided to buy, I don't know that I can ever recreate that, but it's good information to have, that actually when people are making those decisions, sometimes there's a spiritual element to it. That's a great piece of information to have about your clients. So ask them where they have bought from in the past, if they have not worked with you before, or if they have worked with you, oh my gosh, go and ask your clients, be like, hey, can I steal 15 minutes of your time? Can we jump on a call? I just want to ask you, why you came into this way that you did and what prompted you to buy. So useful. Let people tell you what they want instead of you telling them, because we only see things from our own perspective, and we're very tunnel vision, especially when it comes to our businesses, because our businesses at the very beginning, it's like our baby. And I have a coach that, her name is Valerie. She is absolutely incredible and wonderful, but she speaks about business like a baby, and I can't connect to that. I try so hard, but I can't connect to it, because I just think that it's not like, if my business isn't going well, it's not going to affect the rest of my life. I can't let, if my business isn't going well, affect my marriage and affect my friendships that's not okay. Whereas like if I had a baby and my baby was sick, it would affect everything, I'm sure, in my life. So there is a disconnection that happens because if we believe it's like our baby, that is how it feels in the beginning. We're so protective of it that we won't let it grow. We'll stunt its growth. So we have to be really conscious. And if you are treating it like a baby, be a really conscious parent. Okay. So let's move on because I know that we all think we have the best ideas when it comes to market research. And you do, you have amazing ideas. You just have to find out how it fits the market. And specifically, when you're creating this system, we have to ask the questions, where are you buying from, so that you can integrate that as your sales method. So step 2 is to choose a sales method. So the great thing if you're doing the market research is you'll have some ideas of how you will sell, but a couple of options. And I want to give you some pros and cons and what you absolutely need. So I've just highlighted 3 just so that we make it super, super simple. And these are the typical ways that people convert sales. So let's dive in. Through a one-to-one call is one way. It has been my preferred method up to this point. I'm just about to shift into through a link, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. But I have always done sales calls. I was trained as a high ticket coach, a high ticket sales coach. So I am in the high ticket space and I sell through that one-to-one medium. So essentially someone comes on the other end of the Zoom call, we check if we're a good fit, and then I'll make them an offer. It is the most personal of all the ways because you are with that person, you are solely with that person, but it can also be intimidating because there's a level of pressure that comes with that. So be super mindful if you're going to do one-to-one calls. It can be the greatest gift, when you feel like, gosh, I spent an hour and I've just made, $4,000. That's pretty cool, right? Like it's a good day. It's a good day if you make £4,000 or dollars in like one call. But you do have to be super mindful that you need a lot of confidence to do that. You also need a script. You need a script. Follow a script that has worked in the past for someone else. Tweak it in your way, but follow a script at the beginning, because what you really need here is you need training. You need someone that's going to train you, that's going to give you sales role play, that's going to give you the options to actually learn, not just a course that's self-paced with a Facebook group where they don't do really anything. You need someone that is presenting, if you're doing a course, that has this like great back end of support in terms of you get experience too, because you don't want your first experience of a sales call to be on a sales call. If you can help it, you want that role play. If you do feel a little bit more nervous, like I remember the first sale that I tried to make, it was cold calling, oh my gosh, for an event, and it was $47, and I cold called 10 people, no one picked up, and I went to my bed and I just cried because I was like, not even a single person picked up. I'm never going to sell a ticket. And it was so dramatic. So having more people around you that can mediate those feelings and support you, but then also so that you feel when you're going into the call that you're ready, is really important. So script, training, support, a little bit of confidence. It'll be chef's kiss perfect if you want to do it. And another way that you can sell, and this came from, I asked Nick Pigeon actually directly this. She is a sales shark and trainer, and I haven't done any of her programs, so I cannot vouch for what they are like, but I did get an opportunity to do some hot seat coaching with her, which was really cool. And she was saying that her team right now are really working heavily in the direct messages. The DMs are blowing up. That's where they're getting a lot of their sales. I believe that that's because it feels less intimidating, but the risk is that you will be ghosted, and that can be really hard to take, especially at the beginning, because you think you have the best offer in the world and someone else doesn't see it, and that can be hard. So what you need, again, you need a script for this. This is not something to just go into blind, because then you'll just end up talking about people, like you'll be talking about people's problems all the time. It will drain your energy. They won't get the support that they need, because actually what they need is your in-depth one-to-one coaching, and you feel like on the other side of that, this is where you're not getting paid your worth. No one is going to buy from you, like all of those thoughts start to seep in because you're giving out so much energy and you're never getting a return. So this is where it kind of goes too far the other way. So you need a script and you equally need a solid follow-up method. So my follow-up method, if you want it, you're so welcome, because this used to like really get down on me. I'd be like I've sent all these messages and not a single person has gotten back. And I would get so frustrated and I would often get a little bit resentful. This was at the very, very beginning. This was like years ago before I'd even started coaching. I was in network marketing. And since doing coaching, I've grown a lot and I've had a really big shift. And now when I'm contacting people in direct messages, if I haven't heard back from them, I'm like, oh, people are busy. Aren't we all? Like, you're busy. You're busy today. Thank you for being here. But people are busy. So they need to be reminded I exist. So I just send them a GIF. It is always Forrest Gump waving like this. That's it. Oh my gosh, seeing that GIF's like it, even thinking about it brings me so much joy. So to send it to people, I don't think like I'm being spammy or rude or in someone's face. I am like sending them the biggest gift. If someone sent me a Forrest like Gump GIF, like please at So Happy Success, just send me a GIF. It will brighten up my whole day if I see Forrest Gump. I love that movie. I love Tom Hanks. I love that GIF. And if you ever get it for me, you're welcome, because it is the light and joy of my life. And when I come at it from that energy, it is not resentment, it is not stress, it is not painful for me. Then the responses that I always get are kind. They're always kind. People are usually saying, oh my gosh, like was running into gym class and saw this message, earmarked it to look back later, didn't. I'm still struggling with this. It's 3 days later. Help me, help me. Right. So you need a really solid follow-up system, and absolutely use that one if you'd like, because it's just the most fun. It's the most enjoyable. And the third sales method that you could use is through a link. So you can sell through a link. It is the least direct of all the options. So please be prepared to chase and question people as to kind of why they're not buying, but not in that direct a way. You kind of want to be a little fluffier if you're sending a link and someone hasn't bought, because again, people are busy and your product is probably the last thing on their mind, or your service last thing on their mind, as opposed to the first thing on their mind, which is the pain that they're going through. And yes, your product or service may solve that, but that's not enough for them. So be prepared to have to chase and question, and also potentially, and this is personal choice, I have not done this yet, so I can't give you the world of ads, but potentially you might have to throw some money into the system. So what you need is, first of all, you need to share daily and innovatively. So I was speaking to an entrepreneur a few months ago, and she was asking for support. She said, why am I not selling anything? Someone look at my page, like, please tell me. And her page is just her sharing the link again and again and again, but it would be sharing the link. It would say she was in clothing. It would say, see our new dress. It would be the link. And then the link would have an image, and the image would be a skirt. And it just didn't even make sense. Like, she wasn't even sharing what the product was. There was a disconnect, and it was just link after link after link. So when you were scrolling, all you saw was that blue like link, and that starts to turn our brain off, because we don't like being sold to, even though we want to be sold to. So we don't like it when people sell to us, but we can be kind of, I don't want to use the word manipulated because it's not accurate, but maybe it is. I mean, the world of social media and psychology of marketing, we want to feel like it was our choice. I'm just being real. Like, I'm just going to give you like the business realness that like no one else wants to tell you, but we want to feel like it was our choice. And if it's just link after link after link, it's not our choice. Like, you're pushing, and now I'm pissed and I'm going to leave. Like, that's how that goes. So we had a conversation about how she could share a little bit more innovatively, and how she could connect her marketing so that maybe then if she wants to just do that method of just sharing link every day, it could work a little bit better. But you usually have to share, especially if you're in the coaching world, we have to share value with a link. We can't just share a link and expect people to buy. It just doesn't work like that. So be prepared to share daily and share innovatively, and also potentially have startup capital for ads. But please be mindful. I've seen so many people fall into this, and this is why I don't do ads yet. I'm not saying that that's not going to change, but you absolutely must do your research into ads. I worked with a company, the first company that I worked with when I left my 9 to 5. I left my 9 to 5 and was automatically like scooped up by a coaching company that had made 1 million in a year. I was in one of their programs, and they had a sales team. When I joined, the sales team weren't really working, and they just said they needed to get them more calls, so put more money in ads so you can get these sales performers that aren't performing some experience so that they can get sales for you. And it was a whole hot mess. And they just spent so many, I just remember the amounts of thousands of dollars they were telling me they were spending in ads was just, it's astronomical to not get the result. So just be very conscious, like, that you must get the result. If you're sharing an ad and it's not working, find someone to help you. Like, don't do this by yourself, because ads are even getting more innovative. Have this book and it's just postage and packaging, or it's, what money archetype are you? Or are you a boss babe or a bad bitch, or both? There's always are both. So ads are getting more innovative too. So remember that if you're going down this route, because it is the least direct potentially if you're just going to do link after link after link. So those were a few sales methods: one-to-one calls, direct messages, and you've also got the links. And let's dive into step 3, which is you have to choose where to build your audience, because you need a place for all these people to see your information, right? And you have to know how you will build up that know, like, and trust with them. So if it's social media and you're building an audience on social media, I don't think that anyone needs to tell you. Like, it is just a case of how many times people see your face and how many times they see your offer anymore. I think everyone is saying that. They're giving you stats now that's like, it has to be 21 times. And it used to be, when I first started out in the online space, it was like 7, and now it's 21. That's how wild the world has gone and how numb we are to marketing now. But you have to decide, if you're doing social media, how often will you post? And also, what call to action do you need that will get people to take the right next step in your sales process? So if you're selling through a one-to-one call and you're saying you're sharing your value, so you've got a post, it's a reel, it's funny, you're dancing, I love it. And then you're sharing value and information. And then at the end, DM me the word coach to book a one-to-one business consultation. DM me the word spiritual bitch, or the word spiritual bitch, to book a one-to-one Reiki crystal healing session, whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is that you do, make it unique to you. Use a word that's unique to you. Highlight what your offer is for that one-to-one call, and that is your call to action. Or the call to action is click this link. Or the call to action is DM me for more information. But for more information is a little bit wishy-washy. So I would say that DM me a specific word to have a conversation about this in the direct messages, like in your DMs, so that people know that they're just having a DM conversation with you. So be very specific about the call to action. And if you're building your audience on email, because I just want to highlight email for a minute, because everyone's always saying you have to build an email list, and email lists convert at typically like 1%. So if you've got 100, you're converting one person potentially. So you're going to need numbers. And that's why people say they wish they'd started it before, is because if they'd started it before, they'd have more numbers, right? So how are you going to get people to your email list if that's the way that you want to build an audience? You have to know how you're going to get people there, which typically involves social media. But if you are using email, how are you going to get people there? And again, how many you're going to send? Are you going to send one email a week? That's obviously going to convert less than, if you were to send 3 a week. But then maybe if you send 5 a week, that's too many for your particular niche. So you have to really make a judgment based on your clients. So really ask them in the market research, where do they buy from? Like, do they buy from email even? So I just wanted to highlight that, because I know that email is something that everyone's kind of riffing on right now. And the other way to build an audience is in person. So you can build in person and you can think about how many events are you going to attend? What is your intention, your goal when you go to those events? And equally, what is your follow-up process from events? Because usually if you've met someone in person at an event, you have a little bit more of a connection with them than you do if it's just someone that's liked your reel and followed you from it. So what is your follow-up process for them? Maybe you call them. Literally, you just pick up the phone and you got their number and you called them and you're like, "Hey, I was just thinking about how great that event was and what we were saying, and I thought I'd give you a call and just check in and see how you were doing." And you build up a relationship that way. Or maybe it's text message or a WhatsApp, or maybe you do connect on social media and that's how you then start that process. But pulling people into your audience, there's multiple ways to do it. Do it in a way that feels good to you, but also that aligns with the market. All right. So that is the 3-step process of starting to build your lead generation system. So, step 1 is market research. You have to know how people are buying. Step 2 is choosing a sales method. So, how do you want to sell? How does it feel good to you to sell? And what, again, does the market want? And choosing where to build your audience. You need a pool of people to pull from in order to sell them things. Where are you going to find them? Again, align with the market research and what they want, but equally what works best for you. So that is our training for today. I hope it was useful. Please drop a comment if you've got any questions, or DM me at So Happy Success on Instagram. I'm so happy to answer questions on there. And the power question of today, because we always end on a power question, is what could be your lead generation system? So go through each of these things and say, I could do a one-to-one call and I could build it through email. What does that look like? Okay, if that's what it looks like, do I want to do that? And if the answer is no, is back to the drawing board. Okay, well, what if I did one-to-one calls, but I did it through social media? What would that look like? Okay, I just have to tweak my content and just add this line that says, DM me the word coach for a one-to-one Zoom consultation. Oh, yeah, that feels good to me. That's just a little switch. I can do that. Right? So start to look at, what does this actually look like, or start to think about, what does it actually look like in my business? So that is your power question. What could your lead generation system be? Because instead of saying, what is it? And that will cut your brain off because you'll think, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is. What could be your lead generation system gives you lots of options. And then you can ideate through those options and you can decide, this is the right one for me. This fits into my world. This fits into the time capacity I have. This fits into who I am. It aligns with me. And when you find that, it's like chef's kiss, perfect. We love that for you. All right. So I will see you next week. In the meantime, I will be over here believing in you. And I'll see you again on Tuesday.